What is up, guys, gals, and you awesome means and gamers of different shapes and sizes. It is me, Josh, Proxy, bringing you some For Honor gameplay today on the PlayStation 4 Pro, and it's going to be pretty freaking awesome. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and why not subscribe for more For Honor videos in the future. But for now, bringing you some Peacekeeper gameplay today, and it's going to be awesome. Because as you can see, this is pretty much the assassin from Assassin's Creed, and one thing we all know is Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed. So it kind of makes sense in a way that they've actually been able to somehow borrow the template of an assassin from the Assassin's Creed universe and put it into this 16th century inspired video game about those types of people trying to kill each other and also just push someone off a ledge, which is really, really awesome. But this character is really difficult to get used to because one thing you probably know is there's multiple kind of classes that you can play as in this game. There is the Warden, there is the, the samurai types, like the, what they call the Kensai, and then they got like the Viking, like bandit and stuff, and so it's this thing where you have so many different types of classes to get used to, but they all come with their own difficulty levels. Now you may think to yourself, oh well, this whole game is all about trying to get the best attacks out there possible, trying to outmaneuver your opponent and things like that, but it's one of those things as well where you need to have the ability to dodge and deflect your opponent, and the Peacekeeper is very difficult to get the hang of, mainly because it's one of these kind of unusual beasts that has very low health, very low defense, but fantastic counterattacks. Now, you're actually going to be able to see that in this gameplay today, and this is actually a video of me trying to get used to the character, because initially I was trying to practice with this class, and again, it's very, very difficult. It actually has its difficulty kind of hint on its kind of like name when you go into the character selection as hard, and so it's this thing where you're having to really get used to how these characters play out. Now, you may notice I'm actually fighting against a Warden and an enemy Orochi, and I just got completely pwned. And this is how easily it is for the Peacekeeper to die. You know, the Peacekeeper has barely any health, as mentioned, and can only block a few attacks before they get encumbered. So you have to remember that when playing as the Peacekeeper, you want to try and get those counter moves in, which is obviously by pressing the X button left or right when the enemy does an attack. And if, say, they do a horizontal attack from the right, that means that you dodge right, and you will go under them, and then be able to do that kind of like hip stab and stuff like that. But with the Peacekeeper as well, they also have the added ability of being able to do counter grapples. Now this basically allows you to grapple an enemy and then shank them in the kidneys, which is kind of cool if you think about it. And then it also has the ability of using the Peacekeeper's poison effect. Now the only other character that actually has a poison effect is the Spearman, as you already know from what was called the Nobushi. I think it's called the Nobushi on the Samurai faction, and they actually have the ability to poison enemies from a distance. But the Peacekeeper has the ability to poison enemies from up close. So the main way that you actually notice this is if the blade goes purple. This is only by doing grabs and things like that. And I don't know if I show you it in this gameplay, but you will see in the future, obviously, because it's something that I ended up figuring out. And it's just kind of cool. It's just kind of really, really awesome. And also one thing to remember is to always pick your fights as well. You may notice that I was getting a little bit chased down there by the enemy faction. I always got to try and make sure that I'm not getting gangbanged or ganked, as they like to say. And sadly, it seems that my teammate did die. Now remember that the Peacekeeper is an assassin in a sense, and so it's one of these things where you don't actually want to go into a fight and just like scrum, fight against say like 2v1 or 3v1. You could probably do that, and you will actually see me do that in this gameplay today, but it is one of those things where you do actually try and be very, very careful. And I'm trying to get this person on the ladder. Now one thing you can actually do is get on the ladder and then hold circle to slide down the ladder and pull someone down, or should I say knock them, but the other opponent can actually grab your leg and pull you off. As you saw there, doing a grab stab attack, and then I've been able to poison the enemy, which is very, very cool, and they've been able to take down an enemy Peacekeeper, which is quite sexy, and we now have to try and take all the points. Now, one thing to remember as well is that when it comes to the 4v4 Dominion mode, it is all about capturing those points to actually lower the enemy tickets so they can't respawn infinitely. And it's one of those things as well where it's quite difficult, especially if you are in a team of 4, because you kind of have to count on the team as well. Now, one thing I have actually noticed is that it's actually really good to communicate with your team. You actually have the ability, as you can see on the left side of the screen, to do quick chat, which means you can actually request people to come help you or heal you and things like that. But it's also the ability to actually use the microphone, to obviously, which you already have when you come to your PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. So that means that you can actually talk to your teams through voice chat as well. And as I just mentioned, it is very, very useful, because if you can actually work together with your team, you can actually succeed immensely through just communication and teamwork, especially if you are playing as one of the weaker characters. Now, you wouldn't actually see me here take down an enemy Orochi. Now, you saw there the poison attack would which actually bring down the enemy health and also a little bit of the stamina as well. You may notice, well, I just got a little bit tired out from using my own character's abilities. Now fighting a warden, this guy actually has barely any health. He was hoping to try and take down this capture point here and try and get his health back. So remember, when you do actually take a capture point, you do actually get the ability to regenerate your health within that area. But I was actually able to defend that area and myself actually gain a massive amount of points for my team. Main reason being that when you do actually stand on a capture area, you may notice on the top right of the screen, the scores actually has these little squares flashing that says +1 and then maybe +2. The +2 is because one of your player teammates is actually standing on that capture point. But you can only say if you have a player on one of those capture points, that'll actually give you a +1 on top of that +1 already for the extra score that you're getting, which is building up your meter for your team score. But if you say have 2 people on a capture point, it will not say +3. It can only have 1 extra person on there holding a point, which I will actually make a video showing you the kind of benefits of doing that. But again, oh, look at that amazing grab. Again, it's one of those things where the Peacekeeper has the amazing ability of being able to do these counter grabs, and as mentioned before as well, it's this thing where they are able to kind of like dodge attacks too, which is kind of cool, but it's kind of very latency based. You want to make sure that you have actually got the best internet possible when it comes to using the Peacekeeper, because it's like if the enemy's kind of like attacks are laggy or delayed, you want to make sure that you can actually keep up with them through your own internet capabilities. Sadly, I was actually just completely revenged on by the enemy Peacekeeper, which kind of sucks, and we actually lost like counter capture point, and so that was really depressing and really sad. But never mind, you know, we can actually make up this. I think, as you can see, we are orange team and we are actually about to win this. Now if you get to 1,000 points, you don't actually just win the game immediately. It actually means that you take the enemy's ability to respawn away. Look at this dude trying to escape me. Pff, whatever, pussy. But as mentioned, it's one of these things where if you can get to 1,000, it stops the... Oh! Assassinated by an enemy Orochi from a ledge! Now remember, you can actually do that by jumping off ledges and killing an enemy opponent instantly, but it does actually sacrifice half of your health when you do it. Something to remember. But again, if you get to 1,000 points for your team's meter, it will actually cross off the ability for the enemy team to actually respawn and try and take down those capture points, or even back up and reinforce their teammates. So remember to try and focus on going for those capture points and defending them with your teammates, and not just trying to kill as many people as possible, because that is not what the game is about. It's all about trying to win those points to win the game. And oh my goodness, getting chased by an enemy warden here. Now I did actually try and grab them, but sadly it did not work, and I actually got the grab first, which actually threw me off the ledge, and I did lose a little bit of my health. Now we do have actually got the enemy warden here going to take me down on a 1v1. We actually have barely any health each, but who can actually win the confrontation? There we go, taking back the capture point. Oh no, we've got the enemy Peacekeeper coming in again for some revenge. Obviously I pwned them a little bit, and so, oh, he's got full health, I've got barely anything. Oh, taken down. That is not what we want to see, but very exciting either way. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of the Peacekeeper. I would love to know. Hopefully I will actually have some more gameplay in the future for you of this character. Remember, we will be covering this game to death, and I'm really excited for the launch. Let me know what you think to the game as well. From what you've seen, remember, there is actually a single player campaign coming out as well, which is going to be so very awesome, because as you know, as a gamer, I'm massively into narratives, and the fact we're actually going to have this really in-depth combat system with a single-player story is quite exciting, quite awesome. Now you may notice that both teams now are actually at 1,000 points, which means that we both all are in sudden death now, so whichever team dies, that is completely it. Now sadly I have barely any health, but remember, you can actually utilize those capture points that you actually taken to get some of your health back. So I'm actually going to retreat here and also activate one of my special abilities. This ability actually lowers the enemy's stamina if they go into that purple circle. Sadly, the guy's not actually showing up, which is kind of depressing, but I'm getting some of my health back, so that means I will be able to stand my own in a fight. Now, the good thing too is that we've actually been able to take back that capture point and lower down the enemy's score of 1,000 for a bit, which means that my team does actually have infinite lives for a second, but now it's actually gone again. Now, we are actually in stand fight mode, which means we won't be able to try and get that kind of a benefit ever again of trying to deny the enemy team, but we're actually going to try and take down this enemy Peacekeeper here. Remember, this person actually has a quite strong ability to take down opponents, but sadly I was not able to take them down with that crossbow either. The really cool thing about the Peacekeeper is that they do actually have the ability to use a crossbow, which is a single shot over time. Takes around, say, just under half health if you're actually able to get a lucky shot. It does actually have a lock on it, which is a bit of a shame, but if you can actually pull off the shot, then it's pretty fantastic. This Peacekeeper been a bit of a coward, as you've been able to see, but remember that the Peacekeeper is all about kind of harassing and doing kind of like what would you say, kind of like hit and run tactics. So really you can't really judge them because obviously they don't actually have the defensive capabilities of a lot of the other characters. So in a sense, you know, just try and get used to it. Now sadly, there's actually 3 enemy opponents on their team and there is only me left. It's going to be really, really sucky, but this is going to be the main proving point. Can I stand my own ground as the Peacekeeper for the second time? Now, one thing you may notice is that the enemy team does actually have those 3 people on their thing, and they could actually come and completely gank me, but I need to try and hold this area as fast as possible and as efficiently as possible. Now, they're all going to be coming after me. Now, you may actually notice this first enemy about to climb this ladder, going in for the aerial assassination! That is the first enemy down. Now, they do actually have the ability to try and bring them back if they want to, but if I can actually take down everybody on that ladder, that'd be so freaking awesome. But where are the enemy team? See, we've got one guy down there fighting some guards for some reason. I'm not too sure why, but the enemy Peacekeepers tried to sneak up behind me, actually getting a few stabs in there, which is fantastic. Able to get a poison attack in there as well. Have barely enemy stamina though, and both the enemy opponents are actually going to go in for me now. But remember, if you are actually ganked, you do gain the ability faster of getting into revenge mode, which does double damage, and the ability to gain a little bit of an invulnerability shield. And as we do it, we actually get the final kill in there. That was awesome. Whew! Standing my ground, 3v1. That was fantastic. Comment section below, let me know what you thought. That's been me, Josh, aka Noir Proxy, bringing you some For Honor on the PlayStation 4 today as the Peacekeeper. Would love to know what you thought of this character class, and I will bring you some more in the future. But either way, I'll see you all next time. Ciao for now.